Starting. Hey, we're live. What do you know?
Oh boy.
It's the first muck on the market in 2 years.
Probably at least two, I'm guessing. And now I'm in beautiful southwestern Connecticut. I have relocated from Nash Vegas up to Fairfield County, Connecticut.
You guys know me, Muck, BOBO, just here to do our our normal thing, talk about where things are going, how we see everything from politics to the market and what's going on, and hopefully provide you guys with some laughs and insights. Realize we are not financial advisors, so don't try to trade off anything we say. And if you do, hey, you never know.
I haven't made any trades today. First day in forever, for a long time, especially with all this increased volatility. I've been trading pretty frequently.
Oh yeah,
just playing ranges.
My trading has gone up pretty dramatically with the increase in vol.
Vol's getting killed right now.
Yeah, that's what I've been trading. I've been on the long side of TVIX, just kind of a lot of my positions lately. I've been in and out of TVIX, which is the 2x volatility, and also another name to get vol was Chesapeake Energy, in and out of that a lot. But today, yeah.
What's going on with the late Aubrey McClendon's company?
God, they have a lot of debt. The next bond that comes up is kind of a small one. It's funny. It's around $5 million and some change. But God, isn't that funny that when we say like $5 million in debt is coming due, that's the small one. It's like,
well, I have a lot of history with that company. I used to trade it years and years ago, and then I really started to delve into it. I guess maybe I started trading it when I was actually living in Wichita, Kansas, because it really wasn't far. It's based in Oklahoma City.
Yeah,
and he had a famous. The late Mr. Aubrey McClendon had is part of his wild ass spending. He's an interesting character, by the way. His whole history is interesting. Somebody should write a book about it. But
yeah, that was going to ask you. Has there been a book written about him yet? And
not that I have seen. And I read. I'm actually just finishing a very interesting book right now called. Let's see, I have it right here. Conspiracy, which actually Tommy Thornton, who's a hedge. Well, I don't know if he's actually got his own hedge fund or he's in a hedge fund now. He's in. I think he's in Greenwich.
That's it's the Hulk Hogan Gawker inside story kind of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's about Peter Thiel and this Denton, who was the owner of Gawker, and this mysterious, he ended up backing Hulk Hogan on a lawsuit. Hulk Hogan, his wife left him, moved to California. He was friends with Bubba the Love Sponge, who I may have heard on the radio a couple of times over the years at some point in time. And guy actually legally had his name changed. But he was doing a show down in Florida and had he had a friendship, I'll say, with Hulk Hogan. Anyway, Hulk Hogan's marriage broke up, and this guy Bubba the Love Sponge invites him to his house. You shouldn't be alone, Hulk, this and that. Anyway, his wife is there, or his then wife, and they apparently had an open marriage, and. Anyway, Hulk has relations with the wife, and there's like a little. Apparently, they were taping the whole thing, filming the whole thing, and at least and it showed up on this Gawker site, and it led to a whole lawsuit, and the rest is history. It's a very interesting book. At first, I was a little put off by some of the way it was written, but in the midst of me reading it, I saw this guy at a couple of interviews he's also had recently. It was quite good. So anyway, it's a worthwhile read if somebody wants to read it.
I just finished up Molly's Game, about the high stakes poker on Wall Street in New York, and the Hollywood scene. I mean, phenomenally good. I saw the movie. The movie was nice because where the book ended, the movie came out way later, so you actually got to see like what the sentencing was like on her, and how the judge pretty much was like, this is, kind of just roasted the DAs and was like, this is a joke. All she did was run a high stakes poker game, and you are trying to connect her to the Russian mob. Like, this is such an overreach. And I think he ended up just giving her like 2 years on parole and a fine.
Yeah, I mean, I know of the story. I know some elements of the story. I've never read the book, didn't see the movie, but it looks like a captivating tale for sure.
Bob's being modest, everyone. We all know he played in the game. Bob's incredibly rich.
No, I'm not. That's why I'm sitting on my brains.
Talking about Chesapeake again.
Okay,
was there a oh man, I remember a long time ago we were talking, and was there a fishiness to his crash that people might have thought something was up with that?
Well, I mean, he was scheduled to be indicted.
Yeah.
Very shortly, in that matter, and he had a one-car crash in his, I believe it was a Cadillac SUV, but literally ran into a bridge, the side of a bridge at a very high speed, no indication of him slowing down. Yeah, they kind of whitewashed the story a little bit because it was unfortunate. He was a very important player, not only in Chesapeake. The guy, he's an interesting cat, man. This thing was at one time trading over $70 a share. I know.
Yeah.
Way back in the day. Last I saw it was about $3, $3.29 or something like that. Where's it at now?
313. I'm long from 305 right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like it's like a lotto ticket, I guess. Well, I don't know much about the company. I mean, I was really heavily invested in it. I remember, who was actually talking that up all the time was Kramer. That was a Kramer favorite for a long time.
I think now what I use it with, and I talk a lot about it with some people on Twitter that if you follow my feed, you'll see it. It's kind of a really good equity play on nat gas almost without getting the futures exposure on the nat gas side, which is putting up, you got to put up a lot of leverage on the nat gas side.
What's the leverage for a nat gas contract?
I mean, I know a penny, a box on that can get, can hurt.
It's a pretty pure play on that gas for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm kind of just playing it right now from, the lower it gets to 3, I'm a buyer. The higher it gets to 320, I'm a seller, and just kind of doing that range with it because it has the volume, so you can swing, you can swing good size in it and not really get worried about it. I do have some $4 calls that are out until next year. If stuff pops, hey, that's my lotto ticket. I didn't really pay a lot for them. But between that and TVIX lately, I mean, that's kind of where I'm going. Long some Fox. I got relong some FOX today on the A shares and just the normal shares, because I feel like that AT&T deal is going to go through. I mean, it's going to be a spear in Trump's side if that AT&T deal goes through. But if that goes through, then they have to allow Fox Disney. And if they allow Fox Disney, I mean, it's putting the value of Fox at between $40 and $42 a share, even with the breakup. And plus,
the Sky TV thing in the UK, is that dead now? I mean, that has gone through so many different lives. And last I saw, and this is only probably a couple weeks old. Well, if it's probably a month and a half old. Comcast was bidding in it, right?
Well, so it's kind of like it's the NXPI, I guess, of television, right? Where if Comcast buys Sky, they can block the Disney Fox deal. But if Fox buys out Sky, then that puts it through. And then if Disney buys out Fox, essentially you're getting Disney shares at a very deep discount. You're getting a quarter of a share of Disney for every one share of Fox.
But it's just a piece of Disney, right?
It's it's 1/4 of a share for every full Fox share you own.
Right, but it's only a portion of Disney's business, right?
No, it's straight DSI.
Oh, it's the whole Megillah. It's ESPN and the theme parks and the whole Megillah.
Yeah, but what's happening is Disney's diversifying. So Disney's taking the movie assets, like the rest of the Marvel stuff, and that kind of the studio side of Fox, but leaving Fox Business, Fox Sports, and some other regional ones to make their own stock, which is going to be listed about $10 a share. That's what the analysts say. I haven't had time to delve out that, but let's say between $9 and $10 a share. But that alone, that little network is a cash cow, because Fox Business and Fox News make so much money in advertising revenue, along with the local sports and stuff like that.
I thought there's a whole thing going on with the local sports channels too. There was consolidation. These things are experiencing just massive generational changes right now.
Well, yeah, with the streaming and plays like Netflix and Hulu, Amazon Prime, Sling TV, like everything's changing. But breaking it up essentially lets Fox TV can go out and buy a company like AMC or Discovery Communications, which is like Discovery Channel and stuff like that, and build another TV network. I think Disney's plan for a streaming service is going to hurt Netflix a lot more than people might like to believe. I stay away from Netflix because I also stay away from Tesla and Amazon. I just can't. I guess I'm an old school fundamental guy, and I can't get used to a company not making any money and stock price going up. It doesn't compute to me. I haven't learned it. I guess I would get it if you built something, and I could see a way to the future. But Netflix doesn't really build anything. Tesla builds some things, but then does a whole bunch of other shit. And
some weeks they build some.
Yeah, and Amazon doesn't. I get the web services, and I get that, but it's it's still weird.
I'll tell you what. I know I have been a Prime customer for at least 10 years. Yeah. Basically since they came out with it. And I used to do the daily deals quite frequently. But their daily deals, which used to be, you would find 4 or 5 items that might intrigue you, or you say, hey, I could use that, and you'd buy it. Now, the prime location has been, if I get a book that somebody mentions that I just really want to get and I don't want to forget about it, I'll go and buy it right away. And B, if I forget something, I need something sent to the house, and get it in 2 days. Other than that, I think their daily deals are just atrocious, really not worth the wait. I haven't, they have been trying to build a kind of a quote unquote fashion business. They've made some niche purchases in that area, but they haven't. I don't know. I see this stuff, and I've gone and getting, whether it's emails or whatever else, I've gone to the site. I don't see anything that just jumps off the page at me.
And then that's where it's got to be too. It's got to jump off the page, to make it, worth worth the while for the people. But for me, I mean, I'm linked into Amazon. Yeah, I mean, my family has Prime. I use it for streaming a lot. I I have a Kindle account, and I also have an Audible account. I love audiobooks, especially being in LA now, and traffic. It's you can burn through audiobooks fast. But I mean, it's funny to see the scope of
Yeah, by the way, I
where they're
missed you.
growing.
I missed you when I was in LA.
Yeah, I know. I was still in Texas at the time, and we were quite some time apart away from each other.
No, I was there second week of March. First in San Francisco for about 4 or 5 days, and then in LA for 4 or 5 days. But I stayed in Brentwood. Nice place. Nice place. I mean, honest to God, the one thing about LA that just really I find irksome is the traffic. You're going 8 miles to get a cup of coffee, and it's a half-hour ride.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, I guess I find, man, the price of alcohol and gas is, in California, it's just murdersome. We are drinking with a friend the other night, and I picked up the tab. It was, 6 makers and gingers between the two of us was $65. I was just like, oh my God, in Texas, this was like $20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different world. It's certainly a different world. Well, and I don't know. I mean, that's the other thing, and I'm seeing increasingly, and it's interesting that the banks have not really participated in this recent rally, this recent move up, which is very well. I won't say it's odd in terms of market cyclicality. When markets move, it's generally been driven kind of by the banks. But I think the banks have some problems, but not as much as state and local municipalities, which didn't take the 208 meltdown and the Fed basically kiting them for years to do anything to change anything. Illinois, California, New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, disaster zones.
Well, I think the banks. I mean, Goldman beat on trading, but then, is not number one in MMA and, mergers and acquisitions anymore, which is weird. But I think, once we get a defined repeal or, something with Dodd-Frank or whatever they're gonna do, if they let prop trading come back, I think it's better. It also, we're also going to see Trump apparently doesn't really like algos. So
you think Trump really understands algos?
I don't think he has any idea, but
by the way, just let me just jump in. One quick Trump thing. I just sent out a link on Twitter to a podcast that I just listened to, which I've listened to a couple of these things. It's Trump Inc. But this one in particular is focused on Michael Cohen. And Michael Cohen's an interesting cat. And let me tell you something. It's about 45 minutes, and it'll blow your doors off to hear the history of this clown.
I guess that at this point I'm not really surprised at anything he does, if I can, but more to the point, if you bring back prop and you start to limit algorithmic trading, I feel like you're going to start to see more of a volatile market, which I think is better for a lot of people. But I don't know if it's so good for the Virtus and the Citadels of the world. I guess I mean, it's going to be better for the Goldmans of the world and probably the regional banks. Yeah, it all depends on who's at this point. It's a Washington thing, so it depends on who's lobbyist and who's liked more. Which is kind of sad in itself, but
that's the name of the game.
There was an article I posted or I retweeted on Twitter about Stevie Cohen is forming a new thing to target dark pools and algorithms in there. So
yeah, Stevie's now running a fund that's actually in town here. excuse me. It's down by the water. It's 0.72, which is in Stamford, Connecticut, all the way down, like I said, down on Long Island Sound.
Yeah.
And he's opened that. I think I saw something today, and I don't know if this is all the money because I thought he had a whole lot more money behind him. They had there was something about a CIO coming on or something, but that they had 3.5 billion under management. But I can't believe it's that small. I would think it would be much bigger.
They still might not be able to raise outside capital yet.
No, they can. Those restrictions have lapsed.
Okay, so and isn't it? Oh God, that's funny about Wall Street is that you can always go to a family office and then wait for a new administration, and hey, you're no longer a family office and you can raise money again.
Well, this was part of the deal he signed some number of years ago when they were chasing after him, and he, of course, a lot of people got left in the wake.
Yeah,
but he survived and still has his money and still has his nice spot in Greenwich, and he's doing well. I drive by and every day I deliver the newspaper. Yeah.
I just think, I mean, for me, I don't understand. I mean, I don't know if you follow Elon Musk and his Twitter at all, but I mean,
I do now. I think that's a human disaster area, Tesla. But I'm afraid of it.
I don't know what you like. I've been talking with a lot of guys. I'm like, well, apparently, if you're dating Amber Heard, who used to be married to Johnny Depp, you have all these great ideas, and you can do whatever you want. You can post insider information about your own company to the world, and the Securities and Exchange Commission is just like, yeah, who cares? Like,
the SEC. I mean, people have been talking about for years, but it is just a disaster zone. Yeah, I mean, you alluded to it earlier. It's the fact. I mean, not only is Tesla not making money, they're not making money while getting government support. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And meanwhile, these large auto companies have not been sitting on their thumbs, just waiting for something to happen. They've actually been paying attention and develop. I mean, BMW and Mercedes have really kind of top of the line electric cars that are ready to go. I mean, the one thing that has always kept me away from shorting Tesla, I mean, other than a cost to borrow and just whether you buy straight puts or you borrow it. First off, the borrowing costs are very high, and secondly, the puts are very high because everybody's inputs.
Yeah, the cost to borrow on that stock just crushes you, and there's not even a dividend, but the borrow is hard. But also, what always scares me with Tesla is SpaceX, and that's what always stops me from getting short, because you never know, like all of a sudden, boom, condominiums in space, and Tesla is launching the rockets. And
doesn't he have a major cap? But doesn't he have to do it? I mean, the company has to do a major capital raise this year, right? They're going to run short of cash, and whether I'm told that they're closed out from really borrowing on the bond market, and thus they'd have to,
second, what would he be, like a Fiffendary right now, right? Because he's already done so many sets.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, and Elon's package that got approved.
Oh, it's insane. I
450 million. I don't
know. I lost. I used to think he was a visionary, and then I talked to people that knew him, and this is hearsay, but I believe the people, but it's just from overheard stuff. But they ran into a money issue with the original Tesla that was built on the Lotus platform, and he borrowed money from people, which he didn't really need to. He borrowed money instead of giving up equity in his company to live his lifestyle. He borrowed money from friends to live the lifestyle that he was used to, instead of dumping equity in his company, and I was just like, well, that's kind of weird. And
well,
then
somebody's got to pay for that fake hair.
And then the thing that killed me on Tesla was when Tesla bought out Solar Cities for a premium, and I was like, and no one's like, none of the talking heads on CNBC, on any of the TV. I think I might have come on Muck on the Market and said how this is a complete joke, but no one said anything. You can't be the CEO of two different companies, be the chairman of two different companies, and one company is going down the shitter, and then your other successful company buy that shit company for a premium. That's not normal, because all the other solar companies were, First Solar was going down, and
First Solar. Geez, speaking of which, First Solar, I just looked at the chart today earlier. The chart, it's up to 77 or something, or above 77. What the hell's going on there? Well, I used to know the CEO.
First Solar's, I mean, it's a good company. I don't, it's still solar panel stuff, but don't tell me that Solar Cities was better than First Solar. And I don't think they're the same. I think one is the leader and the other one's a dog. And Elon's idea was like, well, we need Solar City to help with our batteries and, do stuff in plants and all this other stuff. So I'm going to buy it. Cool. Then buy it at what it's trading now.
Right.
It'll be like, I'm going to buy it, for 35 when it's trading at 20. That seems like an utter joke. You're wasting money from one company to prop up another company, which you both own. And everyone was like, oh, that's normal. I was like, I don't think Rockefeller could have got away with that. I don't know pretty sure Bill Gates in the 90s couldn't have done that. Like, if Internet Explorer was his own company and Microsoft bought it back for a premium. Pretty sure Zuckerberg couldn't do that. If they spun off WhatsApp and it failed and he bought WhatsApp for a lot of more money. It's just this fascination with Elon that people just let things go.
Market really softening up here, Muck.
Is it?
Yeah, we're sitting at 27.10.
Oh, TVIX is rolling back.
Looking heavy. Anyway, so what else do you buy? I really have to tell you. I mean, other than reading, I've really been just sitting on the index. Because I'm not in love with anything for certain. My longer term accounts, I'm sitting on some just dividend providers and just waiting it out. But
yeah, in and out of, I mean, we're just constantly in 3M. I mean, that's the stock that I feel deeply about. I think it's a really good stock.
Buying lots of post-ups
all the time. I have them covering them. When I had an office, I had Post-it notes covering all my monitors. I like CAT. That $1 trillion spending bill is going to help out CAT and Deere.
What $1 trillion spending bill?
The infrastructure bill.
Oh, come on, that's never going to happen.
It has to happen. Jersey alone needs to build another tunnel into New York, and they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
Well, I mean, that stuff needs to happen, but you can't. But certainly not. I mean, it's not going to happen in 2018. So just put that aside. I mean, they're done. You saw that the House even shut down business for tomorrow. They're going home. They're not even taking any votes. They're leaving a day early. I mean,
I'm just saying our roads are falling apart. I care more about our roads and our infrastructure than I do about a wall. But look at Chicago. Look at Chicago. They have like hanger downs to catch stuff that are falling off the bridges because they can't repair the bridges. Like you just repair it all and
go to Kennedy Airport. Fly into Kennedy Airport. See that beauty. Holy Christ.
But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I still think CAT is CAT's a good play. Medical equipment plays like Edwards Life Science, Strayer.
Medtronics?
Medtronics is good. I'm a little.
Medtronics. I rode that short for so long. I made an absolute killing on it. I mean, I didn't ride it all the way down. Is it Mark Cahotes? Cahotes? He was a big trader in Chicago and now lives in the Central Valley of California. And he's been just killing Medtronics.
I'm a lot more of a proponent of Edwards Life Science and Strayer than I am on the Medtronic side. I think Edwards is going to be used all over, especially in the cath lab and more on the heart doctor side and with new valves and stuff like that they're coming out with. I think that's the that's kind of plan that you want to be in, like you want to be in. As always, I'm kind of a notorious cheapskate, so I like to wait. I wait for pullback.
I misspoke. My medics is the. My medics is the one he's been hammering. I apologize.
But I mean, for me, it got a little risky there on sometimes. Short and GE, that was kind of fun.
That was a good ride.
Had 20 puts, when it was dropping, and then
just naked puts.
Yeah, just buying it on the downside. I just walk
off home run Tigers. I win.
Not so much. I think I covered it on a. I mean, I think I tripled my money on it, but
you can't beat that.
You can't beat that. And then when it got to 13, I started buying some more puts. Made a little money on those. I don't feel I feel it's worth about $9. And the problem is that once it breaks $10, a lot of funds have to sell it. And
you're absolutely right. It's at $10, it becomes a cascade. It could easily hit seven.
Because a lot of guys have to sell it, and then there's not enough value people with how it's done, and you're assuming. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't believe what Kramer says, but I feel like sometimes he's a lot more enthusiastic. But his number of $1 a share, cool. I could get behind that, and I did get behind that. I mean, that's why I. Went the position I did when it was at 20. If he was saying $1 a share, it makes it 15. Okay. But, then it got to 15 and it was just like, now you're like, listen to some conference calls and stuff like that. And you're like, I don't just $1 a share. It doesn't really seem like it meant 50 cents a share, a quarter a share. Okay. But I still feel like they have a lot of not polished parts. They need to do something with it. Now you want to tell me they're going to break it up? Okay, I'll buy aerospace. I'll buy healthcare, but not anything else.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do. Those people. I mean, it was obviously very big in this area. Now it's up in Boston. Although they still have a lot of locations here and a lot of people housed in the area.
I mean, I would, if it came down to it, I'd rather take, easily would take a position in United Technologies over GE any day. I would, take a position in some other companies that can legitimately be broken up, and I want all aspects of them. They break up United Technologies. I want every one of the companies that they're breaking that up into, and I would be very happy with that. But are you really happy with the sum of the parts of GE on a breakup? I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, I'm gonna have to beg off here, Muck. Our return to broadcast here. But I do have some thoughts, and we should, I guess, before the next time we do this, we should sit down and figure out, kind of a little bit of a primer on what we're going to do.
Yeah, let's we'll shoot for Friday, people. I don't know who's watching it, but we'll shoot back for Friday. We'll see who we can get on and try to make this a weekly thing for everyone to have a good time with, and escape reality.
All right, Muck. Well, stay well. It's finally sunshine here in beautiful County, Connecticut.
Bye, everybody.
Adios.